Hello friends, I'm Narendra Verma once again before you. As you know very well, in business studies for class 12 CBSE syllabus, we have been dealing with the chapter number 5, that is organizing, right? And in today's session, what we are going to cover, formal and informal organizations, the meaning, definition, features, advantages and disadvantages. Let me tell you something about this topic. Actually, this year 2020-21, just due to COVID-19, CBSE has deleted this portion from this chapter. But in your further classes, it will be needed. If you remain the commerce student in future as well, then you need to study it. That's why I'm making video on this. And next year in CBSE also, it will once again come back. Alright, so let's start without wasting much time. So before I start the topic, I would like to have some discussion related to the relationship. Okay, see, try to understand two kinds of relationship. Okay, one you have with your teacher and another you have with your friends, right? You cannot behave in a similar way at two of the places. Like, as you behave with your friends, you cannot behave with your teacher, principal. Understood? Okay, similarly, as you behave with your principal or teacher, you cannot behave with your friends. They will find your behavior unique one, right? So there are different places and different relationships you have, different way of talking, different mannerism. Okay, so many things are there. So this is known as formal and informal relationship. The relationships that you have with teacher and principal, that is known as formal relationship. Okay, and the relationship that you have with your friends, that is informal relationship. All right, okay, now you must have understood the meaning of formal and informal. Okay, formal is something in which there is a systematic manner, okay, which has been defined already, that you are supposed to perform this activity only in the set manner. And informal is something in which no such pattern has been decided, no such system has been fixed. Okay, you can behave as you please, right? Okay, so if you talk about behaving with teacher, then it is said that how a student is supposed to behave with his teacher and principal. But how a person is supposed to behave with his friends, there is no set pattern for that. Understood the point? Now, same concept is applied in case of organization as well. Okay, in organization, on the basis of the relationship, okay, it can be divided broadly into two categories. And one category is known as formal organization and another category is known as informal organization. I just write it down for you. So, there can be two types of organization on the basis of relation. Okay, one is formal organization and another is informal organization. Organization is what? The group of people. Here, when we are referring to organization, we are talking about the group of people who is employed to work, right? So, now let's talk about formal organization. Formal organization is what? It refers to a systematic structure, fine, designed by the management to accomplish a particular task. Okay, here you can keep both the structure we have learned so far, functional and divisional. Whether the organization is following functional structure or divisional structure, if they have prepared one structure, if they have designed one structure in their organization, that structure is known as the formal structure or formal organization, in which everything is defined. Right? Okay, we'll talk about it later on in detail, but as we see prima facie that there is top level management, middle level managers are there and lower level managers are there. So positions are fixed and it is also fixed that who will report to whom, who will give orders to whom. So that structure, okay, is known as formal structure or formal organization. Understood the point? Now let's talk about the informal organization. This informal organization refers to a network of social relations which emerges on its own due to formal rules and relationships among people, right? Means, just because of this, let me tell you one important thing. First, it comes into organization and then it emerges, fine, automatically. Okay, how? when the duties, responsibilities of everything is fixed, okay, now the people will be recruited. Now people will come, okay, and as per their job profile, their job position, they need to function in the organization. But with whom they have to gossip, that is their personal decision. With whom they have to sit and take lunch, that is their personal decision. Whether the person is belonging to his higher position or lower position doesn't make much difference. That is what the informal relationship. Sometimes they visit the homes of each other, they have parties, they have informal discussions, they have enjoyment. Okay, that is what the informal organization, which lies in the formal organization or which emerges due to the formal organization. Because earlier these people were not known to each other, just because of the formal organization they have come to one place. Okay, now they are meeting with each other, they are doing their work, and just according to their likings they form their social groups. Okay, and that group is busy in chatting, having fun, enjoyment, just sharing their personal feelings, stories, emotions, everything goes on there. Okay, so that is known as what? Informal organization. Now let's understand about these both in detail, one by one. Very first we'll talk about the formal organization. We'll understand its meaning in detail, that I have just given its definition to you. Now we'll understand its meaning in detail, all the facts. Okay, thereafter we'll talk about its features, advantages and disadvantages. Similarly, then we'll talk about for informal organization. Understood? So let's move on. So you can see here I have plotted a diagram. Okay, there is one organization which is having general manager Mr. Mukesh Agarwal, two assistant managers, one Mr. Sumesh Rai, two Mr. Umesh Khatri. He is looking production one, and this Umesh Khatri is looking marketing one. Right. Now under him, senior assistant manager is there Mr. Rahul Singh, and under him one junior assistant manager Ms. Rita Bahuguna, and under her there are various other employees. Okay, these all are belonging to production. Okay, now let's see the marketing one. Senior assistant manager Sunita Roy, under her junior assistant manager Lalit Pal, and under him there are various other employees. These all are belonging to marketing. I have given a very short example, okay, because the organizational structure can be bigger than that. Okay, now this structure is known as formal organization. Okay, whether you name it functional structure or it can be divided on the basis of division in the product line. Okay, it can be named as divisional structure as well. Both come under this category. Fine. So formal organization can be functional as well as divisional. Okay, because both are formed just to accomplish a particular task. Now let's understand what this formal organization includes. Okay, that includes authority, responsibility and accountability. Right. Now here at each level all the three terms are pretty clear. Okay, this assistant manager is aware of his duties. He knows what are his responsibilities, he knows what are his authorities, up to what level he can take decision, right? Okay, and he knows that he is accountable to him. Okay, similarly this senior assistant manager also knows what are his authorities, duties, responsibilities. He knows that he has to report to him, this Mr. Sumesh Rai, right? Whether Mr. Rahul personally likes him or not doesn't make much difference, but he has to contact him, he has to take order from him because he is junior to him. Okay, so he has to listen to him. Understood the point? Similarly, this Rita Bahuguna is the junior assistant manager. She has to listen to him. Okay, so that is what clarity of roles, okay, positions, duties, authority and accountability. One point in the formal organization. Another point is what? They have to have proper coordination between each other as well as within the departments. Why? Just for the smooth functioning of the organization. Okay, there is a kind of forced coordination they'll have to have. They do not have any other choice. Okay, say for example, this XYZ. There are 3 employees and these all are working under junior assistant manager who is Rita Bhavana. Okay, whether these 3 like each other or not, or these 3 like her or not, makes no difference. They'll have to coordinate with each other. Okay, they'll report to her only. Understood the point? So that is what. Okay, one point clarity of everything, another coordination has to be there. Okay, one more thing, everybody is specialized in his own field. They know for what special tasks they have been appointed, and on this position what are their special duties. Okay, so that is also known to them. Another point is that they are all bound with rules, regulation and procedure of the organization. Okay, it's not like that any day Mr. X gets angry and then he goes and abuses Rita Bhavana. That cannot happen because that is against the rules of the organization or the policy of the organization. If it is done, then definitely some kind of punishment will be imposed on this. Okay, and he'll have to bear that. Understood? So that is a kind of thing. Okay, so everything is the result of what? Formal organization. Okay, I think now you must have understood. Okay, I once again tell you that formal organization is what? Systematic structure created by the management to get the particular task completed. Okay, and this is must in every organization. Whatever we see in the form of functional or divisional organization structure, that is what? Formal organization structure, if we see on the basis of the relationship between or among the position holders. Understood the point? Okay, now let's talk about its features, advantages and disadvantages. Very first I just write it down and then I will have discussion with you one by one. Fine? So these are all features of formal organization. Whatever I have shared with you till now, whether in terms of definition or meaning, okay, or for explaining the example, everything is related to the features of formal organization. Let's see here. The very first feature, reporting relationships are clearly defined. I explained to you that every position holder is well aware of his reporting relationship. He knows that he has to report to him, okay, and he also knows that he has to report to him, and she also knows that she has to report to him, and all these need to report to her. Okay, similarly, here also the same procedure is followed. Understood the point? Okay, so they are already aware of their reporting relationships. These are clearly defined. Another, created to achieve organizational objectives. Now, why this structure is created? Just to achieve the organizational target. Okay, the target will be given by general manager to production head as well as the marketing head. Okay, and these targets are related to the overall organizational goals, right? So just for the completion of the goals of organization, this structure is maintained. Understood? Let me tell you one more thing. It also includes some temporary structure. That is not, however, the part of your syllabus, but I give you a bit idea. That is known as committee. Okay, so committees are also formed just to accomplish the specified objectives, which are there for the short period, but these are also done. Okay, so that is also the part of that. Now, let's move on ahead. Coordinates efforts of various departments. See, this is what the production department, this is marketing department. Okay, why this structure has been created? So that the coordination can be established with each other. Okay, it's not like that they are functioning separately and they are functioning separately, because the work of production marketing has to be done in the coordination. Only then the proper decisions can be taken and wastage of the material can be stopped, overlapping of efforts can be stopped, proper information has to be shared, and that is what coordination. Okay, so coordinates efforts of various departments. When everything is already defined and very much clear, then what happens? They have to coordinate with each other. Okay, their efforts are coordinated. Fine. Now, intentionally created. Now, this structure is not like that itself. created. It's not like that Sumesh Rai has himself adopted this position. No, he was put on this position. Okay, and it's not like that Rahul Singh created one position and then he gave that designation to him. Not like that. That position was already created by the organization. Okay, so this, what I'm trying to say, that when we compare it with the informal organization, then you will understand better. But what I'm trying to say here, that it is intentionally created. Okay, knowingly. Fine. Another, places more emphasis on work than interpersonal relationship. Means personally, like I told you, that whether the people like each other or not doesn't make much difference, but they'll have to follow the instructions, they'll have to report to his or her senior. Fine. So that is what in terms of work. So more emphasis is there on the work, not on interpersonal relationship. Right. So this is all about the features of formal organization. Now let's talk about its advantages. Okay. So these are the advantages and disadvantages. Let me tell you something. Feature includes both advantages and disadvantages. When we separate the good features, these are known as advantages, and the bad features, these are known as disadvantages. Understood the point? Let's see. Fixation of responsibility. Already we know. Here now we are seeing the advantages from the point of view of the organization. Okay, now the enterprise sees that it becomes easy to fix responsibility if they have such kind of structure. Okay, because everything is already clear. Okay, means who will be held responsible? This Mr. Sumesh Rai will be held responsible for all the activities related to production. Okay, and the entire team will be responsible, but he will hold him responsible. Why? Because that is what he is entirely accountable to him. Okay, for his act and for the acts of his entire team. Understood? So it is easy to fix the responsibility, right? And here the responsibility of marketing can be fixed easily to Mr. Umesh Khatri. Okay, and he is accountable for his act as well as for his team's act. Understood? So it becomes easy to fix the responsibility in case of formal organization. And clarity of duties. When everybody is aware of his or her duties, then there is no duplication of efforts, there is no confusion, everybody knows what he or she is supposed to do. Understood? Okay. Now another point, unity of command. Yes, this is the plus point here. Okay, because he will give order to him and as well as to him. Okay, he will give orders or commands to entire his team, not he is going to give any kind of order. Okay, so unity of command is maintained here. Understood? Another point is what? Helpful in achieving objectives. Obviously, because here everything is clear. Fine, they know how the things are going to happen. They have already established a kind of system for that. Okay, so now it becomes easy to achieve the organizational goal. Why? Because the goals are divided into small parts. Okay, some part of the goal will be given to this department and some will be given to this department. Okay, so that the overall organizational goal can be achieved. Understood the point? Similarly, what they'll do, they will also do the division. Fine. Okay, what they'll have to do, what they'll have to get done by their juniors. Alright, so it goes in that manner. So this formal organization somewhere helps an organization to achieve its organizational goal. Understood the point? Now, provide stability. As rules and regulations are very much defined and procedure is clear to all, so this organization is going to stay for a long. It is the stable one because fairly everything is going on. Okay, until unless a big change the organization is planning, it has to go on in the similar way. Understood the point? So it was all about the advantages. Now let's have discussion about the disadvantages. Yes, delay in action. If Rita Bahuguna, who is the junior assistant manager, has to take some decision, then she needs approval from her senior, and this man needs approval from his senior, and this man needs approval from this man. Okay, so sometimes what happens, that delays the action because the decisions are not taken quickly because they'll have to follow the proper channel. Okay, so just because of following the proper channel, that creates a kind of problem in taking decision and some kind of work is delayed. Okay, that is what the disadvantage. Another point, lack of initiative. As I told you that rules and regulations are imposed on these. Okay, when policy is made, plans are made. Okay, these are, he will communicate to him, and they will communicate to entire team. Right now, at this level, if she is going to have some kind of creativity, okay, she cannot. Why? Because the rules and regulation and plans are rigidly followed. Okay, and just because of that, their initiation is discouraged. Okay, the same example can be given here as well. Say for example, he is having some kind of innovative idea, but he has to follow the instruction of his senior. He cannot take any kind of initiative. Okay, so that is what the problem here. Okay, so lack of initiative. Another, ignores human elements. As we have already learned it in the feature, that it focuses more on work rather than interpersonal relations. Okay, so similarly, they ignore human element, they just focus on the work. Okay, they just ignore the social needs of a human being. So human element is somewhere ignored. It's like they people are treated a kind of machine that orders are given and they are just supposed to follow. Okay, so that is what the thing. So it is all about the disadvantages. See, everything has some advantages and disadvantages, but when the advantages are more, so that thing can be adopted. And here we see that disadvantages are less and advantages are more. So that is why it is still applied successfully in the organization. Alright. So it is all about the formal organization. Now let's have discussion about the informal organization. Very first we'll come to know about its meaning, some other facts will come to know, then its feature, advantage and disadvantage. Alright, so let's start.